Together, ouch, that hurt. Alright, so I'm back on this truck again. So right now I'm trying to get this figured out for getting these wires to go through the back of the cab. I have this, what I've thinned down for the wiring harness, the fuse box, and I've pulled the battery tray out of here. The fuse box is going to sit right here, the battery sits here. I'm going to run the wires around and then I'm going to go through the back of the cab here, and that'll put me inside, and then I'm going to try to run them along the floor. I will make up a cover of some kind that'll cover the wires, and then I'll carpet, whatever I do for carpet will go over top of that. So my plan here is to, let me get turned around here. I have this is, I believe, 1.1 inch. I was gonna basically drill a hole so that I gotta drill this 4-inch hole so that I can bring the plugs and things through, but I want to have this smaller hole drilled like that so that afterwards I can put this other piece back in and just tack weld it in, and then just have a spot for the wires to come through. Start placing wires in this truck and see what I need to shorten up. But I already know there's a couple things I gotta lengthen. There's a plug-in that goes to the engine wiring harness that comes right directly next to the fuse box, because the fuse box originally in the car was right next to the motor on the passenger fender, so I'm a long ways from that now, so I've got to extend that. So I've got a long ways to go in regards to wires, but I'm a lot closer than when I started. Any rate, I'm in the truck now, so it's not like working off the bench in the garage, which I'm happy about. That smaller hole saw that I have is basically a wood bit, and I kind of figured it wasn't going to work. I thought, well, if I go slow and spray, maybe, but it's not. It's chewing it up. So here's where I'm at so far. But I'm going to go to this step bit. These things can be pretty violent. You know, they're great, but especially with like sheet metal, the bigger the hole you get, the more when they bite, they really want to twist your wrist. But so I'm gonna just step this up with this step bit. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid having to drill this hole in this piece after this is taken care of. This way I can just kind of get a slit here, put that back in, and get that piece just welded back in after the wires are gone through there. That's my thought process anyway, and my plan. That worked. So that's my hole for my wires. Now I gotta cut this hole to get all those plugs through, and then I'll get the wires here, and I'll tack this back in place, and then I'll try to find a grommet or silicone that or something. I got that hole drilled with this little Porter cable, and in the process it broke it from flexing. And anyway, but I got it. Wanted to show you, I got to pull all these wires through and everything, and I don't want to gouge any of them. That's gonna be real sharp. So I took this piece of loom that come off the wires, and I just put that around there so that when I pull everything through, it's not gonna, that metal piece, you know, that metal edge is sharp, and it'll want to cut the insulation off the wires. And then if I don't know it, then I could potentially have a ground issue, you know, something grounding out. Anyway, I thought about it after I did that, and I thought, boy, I could probably do the same thing to that smaller hole after I get the wires through. So anyway, I'm going to start pulling those through now, which is exciting because then I can get the battery really figured up and the fuse box, and cool. I got those wires fished through, which is pretty much the only thing that I really wanted to get done in order to try to get the toolbox put together that my dad made me. And so I guess I'm all over the place in this video, I guess, or I'm gonna be. I've painted the battery tray box, or battery tray, and at any rate, I got over here waiting for that battery tray to dry so that I can figure out mounting for the fuse box. The fuse box has a little mount. I think if I cut, there's a couple of ears on it that if I cut off, I can use it to, this is it right here. If I cut these lower ears, then I think I can just screw that right to the bottom of the bed. Alright, so I busted out these pieces for this fake toolbox, and so here's the back of it sitting in there. Just have the clamps keeping it from falling back. I really like it. I'm gonna have to do some modifications. I'm gonna have to cut some stuff to try to get it to fit just right. But you can see right here, I got to cut around that fuel line going down, and I've got some other parts and areas to have to trim up. So I'm going to get going on that because I really want to get that fit in there and see how it looks. So this is the frame structure for it, and I just tried to put it in there, and the stake pocket comes through right here, and the way we did these measurements, this is designed so that this will fit under that lip of the back of the cabin and screw from the bottom, and this is the same idea from the side of the bed. So I've got a trim for the stake pockets on both corners, so I can get it in there to see how it fits, and then be able to bolt it to that back piece. So that's what I'm working on right now, waiting for that battery tray to be dry, get that battery tray dry, then I'm going to put it back in the truck and get the battery in that tray, and then tackle that fuse bracket, fuse box bracket, so that that's mounted. Once this is in place, I don't want to have to do a whole lot underneath this, and so that's what I was trying to get this wiring done so that I can get this together. I'm unpacking the lids to this false box, and wrap these in this like foil tip insulation, and this is what I see on the first one. Unfortunately, it's been rubbed and rubbed the paint off, so that is a bit of a bummer, and I'm hoping that it's just that one. And that one looks pretty good. That's the little lids. It looks good. Let me get this all on. And the knife underneath that. Okay, see if I can get this one open. There we go. Here's that one. That one looks good too. Okay. A little bit of, I don't know if that's a buff or not, but that one got rubbed pretty good. Bummer. Alright, okay, I unpacked those. I want to put them in this frame, this upper frame, to get an idea exactly how wide this is from door to door, just to make sure that I'm not trying to trim these things too much. This is it. This is the top. Man, I like it. It looks so good. I'm real bummed about this, but I don't have anybody to blame about the shipping but me. I packaged it and I delivered it. So that's on me. So now I just have to, and I need to figure out where I'm trimming. I checked the truck. 64 3/8 is what I had for width. So I've got, you know, right there, you can see I've got room. So like the lids, that's in real good shape in regards to size. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just gonna figure out where these stay pockets are, get those areas trimmed so that I can get it in the truck, and then get it hooked up to that back piece. Probably have to pull the tank out so that I can get that back mounted to the back of the cab. But this looks good. One of the things that my dad and I had discussed when I was down in California was the possibility of this back piece being too tall. And that is exactly what I'm experiencing. It You can see the hole there for, let me see if I can lower you down. So this here is the hole for this nut insert. So I've got to go down that much all the way across. So I've got to cut the bottom of that off, I guess. I brought this in. I marked it here. This is where the center of that nut insert was, and that's the hole for the nut insert. So I did go ahead and mark both sides. Now when I calced it up, I was like, it was going to be about 3/4 of an inch, and this side is measuring about 7/8, and the other side is measuring 3/4. So I'm real close with the 3/4. I think probably what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick the 3/4 number and trim 3/4 off the bottom of that. I'm a bit bummed out because I don't have a brake, so I don't have a way to roll that bottom edge like Dad did. So I'm just gonna cut it off square, and then I'll probably take this same piece that I cut off and, you know, bolt it to the bottom of the truck, and then rebolt it to this piece, because it's got the angle on it, and it'll be about perfect. So unfortunate that I have to do that, but I'm trying to not think too long or too hard about this, because I know it needs to be done, but I don't want to be dragging my feet trying to. I did take one of the lids out there to the truck and set it in there just to see is cutting this what I want to do and go down, or adjusting that other framework and come up. And I'm deciding that the way it's going to look with this cut down, the way the framework's sitting in the truck right now, is going to be the best look. So I'm going to cut this down, and then I'll get this out there, and then get this thing bolted together. I think I'm going to have to pull I have to pull the fuel tank in order to screw that bracket in the back up to the bottom of the cab. So I'm just gonna self-tap those in, just screw them in, and then I'll get the lids put on and stuff like that, and then hopefully before this video is over, get a little bit of footage of what this looks like finished up. So that'd be cool. I got that cut, and I got this piece stuck back on. Now I'm going to go out there and just dry fit it real quick. I've got to mark this out where that fuel line was going through, because that angle piece needs to be trimmed down. It was really pushing hard on that angle piece, and now that it's mounted, it's like 1/8 of an inch closer to it, so it's going to be even worse now. So I need to get that marked, and then bring it back in here, get that cut, cleaned up, and then take it back out there and see if I can get it. I've gotten a little bit carried away with this and not showing you from what I'm doing. So I got this point. I pulled the tank out so I could get this mounted in here. I got it screwed from the bottom up along the back there. I still have to screw these two side pieces from the bottom up. And right now I'm just about to zip this tank back down, get the tank bolted back down. I got the tank back in there, and then I was about to bolt it back down, and I realized that the electrical plug was back there and pinched and down low, and so I had to try to get everything wiggled and try to get it back out of there. Got that plug out, and it's sitting in a place where I can reach it from the passenger side. This filler neck looks good. It looks like it's gonna miss it. This right here might touch the lid some, but I think that's gonna be okay. I think it'll be all right. And then I'll bring this back piece out here and get it bolted in, and then that'll tell me where these side pieces are gonna be, and then I can get those drilled and screwed in. Looking good. I got that box put together, and ouch, that hurt. Anyway, I got to thinking, hope this battery tray still fits in here. So I'm gonna see if I can, I know it fits in there still, but I don't know if I can get it in there with the, here goes. Nice. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. Yeah, that's cool. And then there's the fuse box. So I got these two are long on the other side, so I gotta cut those real quick, and then I'll get that bolted back in place, and I'll show you how this box turned out. There's the battery in there, battery tray. Got my wires running around the battery, come around to the fuse box. So that looks good. And I'll shut this. That box looks good, man. I need to clean all the smudge marks, but man, that looks good. I am super happy with that box. Thanks, Dad. That thing is, it looks awesome. I love it. I'm done for today with this video, but I will be back at it tomorrow, maybe the next day. But I've got still to cut the those ears off of that bracket for the fuse box, and get that fuse box mounted so that it's not, you know, flopping around in there. And then that'll take care of the things that I have right in there. There's a couple of plugs there that have to be extended, and I have to get back in there to extend the line to the starter and the line to the alternator. But I won't have to be in there for too much more. So I'm excited about that. It's been a couple of days, and I'm back out here and trying to deal with this fuse box, and I was going to cut these off and mount this directly to the bottom of the bed. But what I've decided to do instead, I've decided to keep these ears. They have threaded holes in them. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. So I got this piece of angle here, and I've cut it to fit around those lines going down. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt that down, and then I'm just going to bolt this right to the side of that, so that way the fuse box is going to be a little bit up off the bed. I think that'll be better, and it'll be a little higher, so it'll be, you know, it won't be that high obviously, but it'll be a little bit higher than than it would have been if it was all the way down on the floor. And then this way, it'll be better to all the way around. So I've just got to figure out, you know, exactly where I'm going to mount this to and get the holes drilled for it, and then I got to drill the 2 holes and put the nut inserts in to get that bracket bolted down. Probably throw a little paint on this bracket and then bolt that together, and I'll be golden with that, and then that fuse box will be done and mounted. So, and I still have on this box, I still have that bottom back face still needs to be pinned down to the bed, and these 2 sides need to be self tappers to go up through the bottom on those 2. So, and there's 2 side pieces. I don't know if I talked about that at all, but you can see that there's a hole over there, and then there's a hole here, obviously. And so my dad made 2 pieces for those 2 sides that I'll just scribe the edge of the truck, and then they'll go up against that and then screw to this back piece, and then it'll look like that box goes all the way to that outside panel, and keep things inside there, you know, secure and somewhat out of the weather. Got this piece of angle iron drilled and got so it's bolted down. Now I'm just gonna thread that on, and let me see if I can thread that on without, I don't know if I can do this one-handed. I think I got it. See if I can get the other one. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I got that one too. Now my ratchets. Let me get my ratchet going the right direction here. Feel like I'm getting it. Feel like I'm winning. Maybe. One-handed is not easy. At least I'm trying to do it with my right hand. Maybe I should try my left hand. Maybe my left hand be. Oops, I just pushed the button and go the other way. What the heck, I did it again. Man, what a struggle. It wouldn't be a struggle if I put the camera down and get it done, but that. And now that just sits right on there. Well, I might have to shut the camera off for a second and see what I'm missing here. Should be just dropping right in and clicking. Trying to show you what's going on here. I didn't recognize this, or I guess I didn't pay close enough attention. This side squares off. This side has like a 45, and then on the bottom of the box there's this piece that is square. So, and I'm trying to put this in, so this square piece right here is on this side with this 45. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take those screws out. Hopefully this will still work. Just rotate it and get the two holes re-drilled so that it's spun around, and then that angle bracket is on this side instead of that side, and then it'll get my fuse box a little closer to this, maybe cover these a little bit. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull those two screws and see if I get it turned around. So I got that turned around, and so there's just a whole lot of, I did a lot of work cutting that bracket and such that I didn't have to do, but now it clips right into place like it's supposed to, and there it sits. So I need to get to my fuses. There they are. And it's close enough. We've got some other, these are the lines that I have to extend. They go to the starter and alternator. Then there's some grounds that I'll have to deal with. And then there is a power line that goes from this battery terminal to here on the fuse, which powers all this stuff. Okay, that takes care of that. Now I'll just put some of these tools away, and I will be done. Okay, so that is going to wrap up the video for this week. So remember that Jesus loves you, so do I, and until next week, have a blessed week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting this channel. We're getting there on this truck. It's coming along. I'll be real happy when it is going. But anyway, we'll catch you next week.